Federal Drive is presented by GEHA, Government Employees Health Association, proudly providing health and dental benefits to federal employees and their families. Visit GEHA.com.
The annual Association of the United States Army Conference goes on, shutdown or not. From celebrating the Army's 250th birthday to strengthening ties with allies, this year's AUSA convention is marking milestones and focusing on the future. The event blends education, innovation, and strategy to help the Army meet its mission worldwide. That's the message from President and CEO of AUSA, General Bob Brown, ahead of the gathering. General Brown, thank you for joining me.
Oh, Terry, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
October is AUSA's big month. It's your annual meeting. Let's start there. What is the theme for this year's annual meeting?
Yeah, we're really excited for the annual meeting this year. It's a special year, the 250th birthday of the United States Army. We actually had an Army before we had a nation. And so it's really incredible. We'll celebrate that. We're talking, the theme this year is agile, adaptive, and lethal, winning at the pace of change. So really focusing on, the Army has had to really become even more agile than they were before. And the speed of change has been unbelievable everywhere in the world, but in the area of conflict as well. And so winning at the pace of change, really important. That's our theme for this year, and the Army's excited about it. We're excited about it, and it should be a really tremendous meeting.
How does that theme then shape some of the conversations, the exhibits, the program for the meeting?
Yeah, great question. It really shaped the entire meeting, where we have over 100 educational portions of the meeting. That's from, panels that we'll have on key topics, to what we call Warriors Corners presentation with units from the field presenting on new and transformative things happening out there, agile and adaptive, lethal, what they're coming up with. We'll have a whole bunch of presentations that some will be several hundred people and some will be just a handful of folks. But all of those are geared towards that Army transformation initiative, which gets at winning at the pace of change. So it really shapes the entire meeting, and we work closely with the Army. We don't just come in and AUSA says, here's what we're going to talk about. We work with the Army and what are the key things. And of course, industry is very interesting. We'll have 750 industry representatives there, from small companies that are a handful of people to some of our largest defense companies, sold out for over a year already. And I wish we have no more room in the Washington Convention Center. I wish we did, but it's sold out. We have a waiting list, and all of that will be geared towards transformation. And it'll be kind of neat that for the first time, the Army will actually do demonstrations of some of the small companies they've recently given contracts to on things like drone, counter drone, and different aspects. We'll see actual demonstrations of it right there at annual meeting, which will be really neat.
You mentioned 750 exhibitors, 92 countries represented there. Talk to me about the global partnership that you're trying to convey and build through the meeting.
Yeah, that's really a great point. We as a nation would be foolish to do anything alone. In fact, one of our advantages as a military is we have tremendous allies and partners. And organizations like NATO, which is the most successful, I'd say, alliance in the history of the world maintaining peace, but then even alliances out in the Pacific, with 5 of our 7 alliances being there in the Pacific. So including allies and partners is critical, because we're not going to do anything alone. And as you said, 92, I think we anticipate 98, but somewhere around, whole bunch of allies and partners will be here. And it's really great. They're involved in the educational portion. So we don't just look from the United States perspective. We're looking at it as from the whole team, all the allies and partners, and it really helps us. And then again, industry. I think we're seeing more partnership than ever before in history, because the defense industrial base, there's a lot of pressure on it to produce things quickly and keep pace with those who would want to do us harm. And there's only one way to do that. That's working with allies and partners closely. And so they're here as well. They're industry from other countries as well. So it's really key. We won't do anything alone. We'd be foolish to. It's one of our big advantages. It maintains the peace. And we're very happy to have, whole purpose. We want to avoid conflict. And so as a military and as Army in particular, working with allies and partners and them being at annual meeting, it's critical. It helps build that team.
Could you tell me about some of the segments, the educational segments that you're most excited about?
Yeah, we'll have segments on, for example, next generation command and control. Seems kind of fancy name, but it's basically how do you communicate at all times and share information rapidly with allies and partners included. That's one of the panels as an example. Boy, that's a complex area. And it's really, when you look at with artificial intelligence, helping us make decisions faster, but you can't do it if you can't share the information rapidly, securely. And so that's an example of one of the panels. I think really opening ceremony is my favorite. We have Army, the Military District of Washington will put on a tribute to 250 years of an Army. And people always ask me, they're like, oh, these are actors. There's no doubt. These are professional actors you bring in. No, they're all soldiers, and they're incredibly talented from across the Army. They'll really highlight 250 years. But then I think the biggest part will be our new Secretary of the Army, Dan Driscoll, will give a key presentation, and that will really explain the direction the Army's going. I'm really excited for that because it's again, industry's very anxious to hear, the public's very anxious to hear, what are we doing to keep pace with these changes that are happening out there. We'll also have the second day, the Eisenhower luncheon is really the chief of staff of the Army's time to talk about his key as he matches with the secretary as we move forward in transformation. What are his key aspects? And General George always does a tremendous job. That'll be a really great discussion as well. Lots of people want to hear that. And as I could go on, there's 6 of those military panels in key areas, and that'll draw 300 to 400 people per panel. But then there's also, as I said, over 100 of these educational events where we even had the allies will form their own panels and talk about things they're doing that are unique. So that's very exciting as well. So it's worth coming and seeing the latest in technology and what industry is doing is fantastic and really very fun to get out there and see. But then listening to the educational piece, we're an educational nonprofit. After all, Association of the United States Army was founded 75 years ago as an educational nonprofit. And so annual meeting is one of the key ways. We do it throughout the year, the educational process, educating, informing, and connecting people with the Army and America with her Army. But this is a great opportunity.
I'm speaking with General Bob Brown. He's the president and CEO of AUSA. Well, you mentioned that AUSA is an educational organization, but you're also an advocacy organization. What's on your advocacy agenda right now?
Yeah, well, the number one thing is we're always, professions have associations, lawyers, CPAs, you name it. In the profession of arms, in particular the Army as a profession, we are always advocating for soldiers and families. And, what we can do, and that also in that soldiers and families, that would also include our Department of the Army civilians and our veterans. And what we can do for those who choose to serve, we're grateful for their service. And it's everything from pay to medical support to what we can do to help. And every single day, that's our focus. And we do it not out here kind of away from the Army trying to go against the Army. We work with the Army for those things they know they need. And we help as we advocate with Congress, and going and talking and, really working to support those soldiers. And I was amazed, when I was a young major, I got to see Senate Armed Services Committee, and they were arguing over what type of boots and what type of gear the Army should have. And I was like, oh my God, I had no idea Congress got involved in that type of stuff. So of course we're advocating for the best for our soldiers. They need the latest and greatest, best equipment so we can deter those that would do us harm. But God forbid if we have to fight, so they have what they need to fight and win. And so that's really where our focus is. And then, it's really important. We have 122 chapters of Association United States Army around the United States, in Europe, and the Pacific. And those are all volunteers, some 5,000 volunteers that advocate for the Army and connect the Army with a local community. And that's really important. That's active duty Army, reserve, and our National Guard. And they're everywhere America is, but sometimes they're a little bit separate because people don't know, the average American does. If you don't have someone in the Army, you don't know what are they doing. You know, you see them when there's a disaster out there helping. You see them on TV deployed. But AUSA helps connect the Army with America. And that's really key. And those chapters are really the lifeblood of our organization, connecting. And they'll be the ones that'll see, you know, Sergeant Jones needs something. This unit needs something. This organization needs something. And we throw our support behind it. So
this is the Army's 250th birthday year. Are those communities, those associations kind of key to connecting average Americans to the Army's big birthday?
Yeah. Absolutely. There's celebrations. June 14th was the Army birthday, and there's celebrations across the Army. All our chapters celebrated, and it's everything from a small community celebration with a birthday cake to parades, balls, banquets, luau's out in Hawaii, you know, all different. And then at annual meeting, we'll have very unique displays going back, something we've never done, really neat. Again, I really invite the public. We expect some 40,000 folks, but it's free. So, you know, come and you'll see everything from the Revolutionary War, again, before we were a nation, what the Army was doing on display, actual museum equipment, stories of soldier sacrifices, all the way up to the present day, a series of about 9 displays celebrating the 250th birthday of the Army, and you'll see how the Army contributed to the freedom in our nation, and really excited about that. And these will be all over the Washington Convention Center, and in some of them they're interactive, where you can actually put on equipment and see what it's like wearing some of the soldiers' equipment and that type of thing. So it's really going to be special. And I'd invite anybody, please come on out, and you'll really enjoy it. I guarantee you. We'll not go away disappointed. Yeah.
I've been speaking with General Bob Brown. He's the president and CEO of AUSA. Thanks for joining me, and good luck with the meeting.
Thanks, Terry. Hope to see you there, and thanks for having me on.
We'll post this interview at federalnewsnetwork.com/Federal Drive. Listen to the Federal Drive on your schedule. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.